Okay, it is time for another draft. I think I'm actually going to do a... Oh, I guess I have enough. I'll try a traditional draft of Throne of Eldraine right now. So I've been, for a very long time since Arena began, I've been a on and off believer that there was something a little bit strange about the deck shuffling algorithm. Because having played a lot of paper Magic, it just never felt quite right. It felt like there was flood and screw a lot more often than you should. And I tried to just kind of ignore that because my assumption was that it was programmed correctly and it was just variance, and I don't want to be that guy who's always blaming, bad draws. But then I found out about some dude who did like a huge research study with like 1,000,000 different games and analyzed many different games, and they came to the conclusion that yes, in fact, there is something to it, and it's dependent on a couple things. How many cards are in your deck? If you're playing limited, the size of your deck matters a little bit. Like, limited decks have a lot more issues with this just general problem than constructed decks, which is why when I play constructed, I don't notice it as much. Also, my investment isn't nearly as high in constructed, granted, but in limited, that's where I would really feel it. And then also the amount of hands or lands you keep in an opening hand determines it. So basically, what I learned is if you keep a 2-lander, you'll get mana screwed more often than you should. If you keep like a 4-lander, you'll get flooded much more often than you should. And boy, the last run we did with that excellent Gruul deck really put that on display anecdotally. Also, having 16 lands is a travesty because it makes you have extremely unlikely opening hands. And then finally, mulliganing fixes everything. So moving forward with Arena, I'm going to try to, even in aggro decks, only run 17 lands, because I look back and I've ran a lot of aggro decks with 16 lands, understandably, and all of those decks tanked really bad. And now I'm wondering, and the one time I did run a Gruul deck that had 17 lands, because it was a little bit more mid-rangey, and that was the one where I went like 5-3, and it was like an excellent deck. And then this past Gruul one, I ran 16 lands, and went 2-2. So I'm going to kind of make choices and draft with that in mind, because if I'm always running 17 lands, even as aggro decks, that means I can, play. I will always be playing a little bit more mid-rangey, because I will not be running 16 land decks, and also, I will be taking mulligans way more aggressively, especially if I have 2 or less or 4 or more lands in hand. And 3 apparently is like the sweet spot in limited, where things tend to go fairly normally. And then for some reason, doing a mulligan fixes it entirely, and then everything is the differences are statistically insignificant once again. So really weird, but I'm kind of excited because the frustration is not knowing why it's happening. But if this is and it was very compelling evidence. So I feel as though there's something to it, and I think that if we kind of move forward with that in mind, perhaps it'll help us out. It would also kind of explain why I've been doing a lot worse in Eldraine than other sets, because in Eldraine you can actually draft aggro a lot more, and I've been trying to, where it's open, to just kind of work on myself as a, being able to draft all archetypes. But most of the time I run 16 lands, and then I get wrecked, whereas like in pretty much every set before this one, since Arena went online, aggro was pretty weak, so most people were drafting aggressive, or not aggressive decks, but like longer game decks and mid-range and control decks. So I don't think I've ever run 16 lands until like this format in any of my decks, because I'm always just like, well, give me something that's black or blue. So we'll see if this changes. It does mean I'll probably end up actually doing some ranked drafts in Throne of Eldraine, just because I want to have, more opportunities to test out my new strategies and see if it helps my win rate in Eldraine go up. Because it was pretty good before, something like 60. It's just kind of been going down and down and down and down, and now I'm at like 53 or something. So I want to see if we can get it back up if I'm following these these little chips and tricks. So that was a long intro to say that we're about to do a draft right here. Okay, there's a lot of decent cards here. Housebringer's okay. It's like a fine rare, because you know, if you're in like a white aggro deck, rarely will you have, you know, enter the battlefield effects. So it's pretty good there. Improbable Lines is extremely strong. Fireborn Knight is also very good, but difficult card to play. And Lucky Clover is incredibly strong. And then the commons are, we got some fine commons, but probably nothing that's better than any of these artifacts. I think, or not artifacts, uncommons and the rare. I think that I would probably want to take Lucky Clover because for one, it's like a colorless card, so we can defer colors just by one turn. Granted, and pick one that doesn't matter too much. But also this, you know, if you can build around this, this can be kind of crazy. Whoopsies, I forgot that's a touchscreen. I was just wiping something off my screen. Almost took Fortifying Provisions. Improbable Lines I would probably take if this was a colored uncommon, just because like the payoff for this could be extremely high if we get there. But I think since Lucky Clover has like such a huge ceiling, I want to take it early and see if it'll work out for us. Alright, so we got a few really good cards. Syr Allen is quite strong, a very strong effect. Epic Downfall is an amazing removal spell. And Steel Call Lance is great for the colors. Then we got, in the common slot, we got Charm Sleep and Searing Barrage. Neither of those are as good as Epic Downfall. And I think I like Epic Downfall more than I like Syr Allen. So we're gonna take Epic Downfall over Syr Allen here. Just because it's premium removal. Well, if that if that Steel Claw Lance tables, that'd be kind of cool. Oh, another thing that I did hear about Eldraine Draft since the bot update is that in general people are happy with it. The only thing is that red often is really easy to get into, so that's something for us to consider. As I see a Redcap Melee here, Merchant of the Veil and Scorching Dragonfire. So we're going to take Redcap Melee here because it's insanely strong, and you know, if red is truly one of those colors that's quite wide open, then we might be able to play this a lot more often than in a paper setting, and also it's just an insanely strong card. So, got a Joust. I'm not too interested in a Joust. Clockwork Servant is pretty good. You know, if we can get it, if we can adamant it most of the time, we're pretty happy about that. You know, replacing itself is awesome, and it's not a bad body. It's a 2/3 for 3. That's fine. So we'll definitely take that here over Joust. Joust is not that impressive unless you're in a Knight's deck, which we are not yet. Haven't seen any, what's it called? Oh, I tell a lie. Here's a Lonesome Unicorn, which is a adventure card. So we would make 2 knights with this Lucky Clover. We aren't really, you know, Joust again, pretty strong. If we were in a Knight's deck, I would probably play it. But I don't think it's that good, and I think Lonesome Unicorn is pretty good too, because that can get us into Knights. So we're kind of like doing a Mardu thing right now. We're not totally sure where we're at. Oh, excuse me. Merchant of the Veil is pretty good. I think I would pick this as the tiebreaker between Lonesome Unicorn and Merchant of the Veil, because I have Redcap Melee, which I think is better than the second. You know, I think taking this is better than the Lonesome Unicorn. Spin Swordmaster is something to consider, considering we have such a strong black card in Epic Downfall, but we haven't seen a lot of black this pack, so. Fairy Godmother, very excellent adventure. Maybe we'll end up playing Boros, and maybe we'll run 17 lands, and that'll be good for us this time. I guess we'll find out. Not a ton. I might take Sorcerer's Broom. We have a very weird deck so far. So far it's not looking awesome. We also could take Foreboding Fruit, which wouldn't be too bad. We're kind of like, I don't think we're going to play 3 colors, so right now we're kind of trying to decide which of our, you know, 2 colors that we have here is going to be it. Foreboding Fruit is probably the best card in the pack. I don't think Sorcerer's Room works really well for a Mardu deck, like any of the 3 pairs of Mardu. Excuse me, I gotta blow my nose. I got a bit of an allergy today. think we'll take the Foreboding Fruit and we'll really see. So we're going to be seeing stuff on the wheel, which will be extra strong signals if we see some really strong commons pass by. So we'll take the Foreboding Fruit here and we'll kind of try and make a decision really quick at this point. So we got a Rimrock Knight, so as we thought, red is probably going to be at least one of our colors. It's a pretty easy snap pick here. Got a Raging Redcap. It's a Knight. It's red. Happy to play it. Got a Jousting Dummy, which is a Knight as well. Barge-In is a fine combat trick. So we're definitely playing red, so now we're deciding between these two. So we're playing Ritual or Knight of the Keep. Got a few 3-drops already, so I think we'll take Silver Flame Ritual. It could prove to be decent. Lockdown Gargoyle was bad. Come on. Well. So annoying. You couldn't have been in pack 1. I mean, there's just no way. It's the 2 colors that we aren't playing. And we're playing best of 3. So I want a rare draft a little less than I would in other decks. So I could take Inspiring Veteran here and lock myself into Boros, which would probably be better with a Lucky Clover than Red Blackwood. I could also just take Redcap Melee. But I think the Inspiring Veteran is probably better than the second Redcap Melee for us. Real shame about Oko. Obviously, if this was like pack 1, pick 1, we would have tried our best to get into like green-blue. Not sure if that would have worked, but I think Inspiring Veteran is it, and we're going to just go ahead and put these suckers in the sideboard. So sad. Oh, no, we see. Okay, that's fine. I'll probably take the Brimstone Trebuchet here because we're pretty high density of Knights already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll probably get to untap this pretty frequently, especially if we keep going down this Knight's path. It's a good way to close a game. Outflank's good as well, but I think I want this more. Don't want the Spinning Wheel. I actually don't mind the Spinning Wheel, because if we get like a little flooded or the game goes a little late, we can tap down really problematic creatures and kind of keep on attacking. And I think I like it better than the second alternative, which would be Raging Redcap. Yeah, okay. Don't know if I play it, but something there. Try the Crowns. Is green open? Whatever. Too late on that, of course. So we're going to take the Scorching Dragon Fire here, because it's just an excellent removal spell. Oh, this pack sucks. This pack is just trash. I don't think a Crystal Slipper is a sideboard card in case we're against a control deck, and we want to be attacking even faster than we are going to be. But this obviously is a bad card to main board. Rimrock Knight isn't, though. Again, it's an adventure. Doubling Rimrock Knight on an unblocked creature is just huge. And it's a good card anyways, so like, that's crazy. Silverflame Squire, same thing. If we have a Lucky Clover out, it's good on its own. But like, you know, we want to take a bunch of adventures. As we were just talking about taking adventures, I think we'll take Searing Barrage over the second Lonesome Unicorn. It's a fine thing to double, making another 2/2 with Vigilance, but it's undeniable that Searing Barrage is going to be a card that we really want quite badly, because, you know, aggro decks, they can, if they peter out, it's usually because their opponent plays like a 5 toughness creature or something, or a toughness that you can't get over, and Syr Barrage deals with most everything in the set that would do that to you, so we'll pick it up here. Redcap Melee wheeled, which is silly, and we'll take it here over the Brimstone Trebuchet. We'll take the Outflank as well. So we got some good cards. True Love's Kiss I might take for the sideboard over the second Jousting Dummy, just in case. You know, it could be good. We'll be playing 17 lands, so a 4-cost card isn't like going to be dead in our hand as often as we would if we were playing this deck in paper. So sad about Oko. Just heartbroken. Alright. You can't give me... Well, okay, I was about to complain about them not giving me a good rare, but they gave me Syr Carah, which is better. This is a really easy pick. Syr Carah is amazing, and is also just a Knight to boot, you know. So, snap pick, Syr Carah, and then they don't give me anything good. Probably just take a Barge-In. We got a lot of combat tricks with our Rimrock Knights and our Silver Flame Squires, but Barge-In is nice because I guess it raises toughness as well, which can help. We'll take it. It's cuttable, considering we seem to be doing pretty well for like the creature combat tricks. Like another Rimrock Knight here, pretty easy pickup. Again, over the Lonesome Unicorn, I'm still happier with this. Again, just because like this can take something like our Silver Flame Squire that's in play, and it can allow it to get over a 4 toughness creature, or if we have a Lucky Clover out, if we were so fortunate, or lucky. Can't believe I said fortunate before lucky. Anyways, it's just great. Like you basically in a Boros Knights deck, you basically like just want as many of these as you can get. It's just crazy. Oh, it's a Wandermare. I was hoping it would be what's it called? Another Inspiring Veteran. Ferocity of the Wilds is pretty sick, but we can't play it because half our creatures are probably humans. Human. Well, not a ton actually. Hold on. Is Ferocity of the Wilds actually good in our deck? Hold on. I don't want one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So we have like 3 humans, and we have 3 humans. Huh. I think I might actually take Ferocity of the Wilds. We don't have a ton of white cards. We are mostly red, and as a result, we don't have a overflowing of humans. Like, I think I like Ferocity of the Wilds in our deck better than the second Raging Redcap. Potentially. If we get, like, a few more, like, Rimrock Knights or just a few more good non-human creatures for our deck between now and the end of the draft, we'll play it. If we just get flooded with, like, really good white humans, we might take it out, but I think I'm going to speculate here, considering, like, we're not losing a huge amount. Oh, Blacklight's Paragon? Kidding me? It's a really late Improbable Alliance. I wonder if that was open. Weird. Probably take another Brimstone Trebuchet, just because it's a good way to finish the game off, and we already have 2 Barge-Ins, and the Embereth Paladin isn't a card that really impresses me all that much. It's also a human, so. Elite Headhunter kinda sucks, and we're not playing Rakdos, so we will take the Raging Redcap. Shining Armor seems bad. I'm really not that impressed by this, but, I mean, I guess it can be okay. We might run one of. I mean, there are probably situations where we can. It's kind of like a combat trick that'll steal a game, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm really not sure, like, what we would even throw this thing on. I don't know if we'll play it, but I think it's more likely that we play it than Redcap Raiders, possibly. Well, I say that, but again, we have a lot of non-humans. I think we'll play Redcap Raiders. I really don't like that armor that much. I'll take another Redcap Raiders. I mean, we didn't pick up any more humans, did we? Can we just play mono red? We might end up playing mono red here. We'll see. I mean, the cards we have in white are all extremely good. This is the weakest of them, like our 4 white cards. But then again, it is only 4 white cards. Might be better to just play mono red. And if we played mono red for sure, then almost everything we have would be, Alright. This card did really impress me in the Gruul deck, and this kind of almost functions like that. If we switch to mono white, or mono red, a mono red Knights deck, Hengewalker becomes fine. Becomes a 3-mana 3/3, and it's non-human. So, don't think we want Prophet of the Peak so much in our deck, but that'll be like a 3-mana 3/3 is totally fine. Adjusting W is okay as well. Hengewalker is fine again. Barge-In is fine. Weapon Rack is bad. Okay, well this took an interesting turn from a Boros deck to just mono red. As, you know, after I mentioned that mono red is the thing to do. So Our curve is pretty crazy. Very low curve. How many adventures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Lucky Glover might not be good enough for just Rimrock Knights. Like, it's just an extra piece of setup that's like, the payoff isn't humongous. Like, if this was 2/2, the payoff would be more, of course, because then it almost guarantees the survival of the creature, where Rimrock Knight just lets you push through more power. This might not be good enough. We're wanting to go a little bit faster than that, I think. Clockwork Servant will always be good. Merchant of the Veil is fine. I'm not super excited about it. Don't think it fits with what we're trying to do so much. Spinning Wheel, not really what we're trying to do. I should have mentioned up top so that it doesn't look like a weird decision at this point, but I said that I was going to consider still running 16 lands if it's monocolored, because then you have a little less, variance in the color of mana that can screw you, because a lot of the times when you get mana screwed in Arena, it's on the axis of color, not just number of mana. But I'm not sure how brave I want to be about that, because, like, the correct thing to do here is to remove 1 land, because we have 2 cards above 3 mana. So basically, our deck will work fine, as long as we can get 3 lands. That's really, like, almost all we need. But it's a tough call, because, I've never run a monocolored deck before, so I don't have even anecdotal, experience on that. I'm considering just playing it safe. Let's just check our humans versus non. We have 1 human, and it is Syr Carah. So all of our creatures except for Syr Carah are non-humans. So Redcap Raiders is pretty good. I'm not really keen to get rid of that. Redcap Raiders is... The Raging Redcap is excellent with all our Barge-Ins and our Rimrock Knights. So I'm not looking to get rid of that. I might just get rid of a Hengewalker. A 3-mana 3/3 that has no text on it is fine, but not exciting. And all our other 3-drop creatures are pretty exciting. Oopsies. It will be Fibblethip. It must be Fibblethip. Why does it keep doing that? I'm trying to look at this. We look at our knight count, and we have 8 knights, which is pretty decent. So we'll probably untap this a fair bit, because we got, Rimrock Knights, Jousting Dummies, Raging Redcaps, Syr Carah. This is not a knight, so it doesn't have knight synergy there. Redcap Raiders is just better than the Hengewalker, because it's like a 3/2 that oftentimes will be a 4/3 with Trample. So I think that it's probably the second copy of Hengewalker. If we're getting completely flooded, even after keeping in mind that maybe we should mulligan more 4-mana hands than we think we should. If we keep getting flooded, we might swap the Hengewalker for a mountain, but we'll see. We'll see how our games go. Also a possibility during sideboarding, so it's not we'll hopefully have a higher sample size, but this deck seems extremely strong. A very aggressive red deck. Yeah, I'm just really excited about it. And the Ferocity of the Wilds actually works out. I love this card. This is kind of like a pet card of mine now, because I played it a couple times. I got to play with it a few times, and granted, that Gruul deck unfortunately didn't really get to show off what this card could do. I feel like this card is very, very powerful, especially at ending games. The Trample is really helpful at ending games, because I can throw my Rimrock Knight into an opponent, and even if I can only push a couple damage through, every piece of damage counts, right? But yeah, we got 5 pieces of powerful removal. We have 6 extremely strong combat tricks that only cost 1 mana. We have Brimstone Trebuchet to ping out our opponents with our, our multitude of knights. This deck seems very synergistic and very powerful. And we're going to run it with 17 lands just to see how it goes, but I might go down to 16 because, again, 16 is bad, but we're also monocolored, so it's a lot harder to get completely screwed, because as long as we draw any lands, we have the colors we need. So we'll play around with that a little bit. But for now, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to go to my lab, and then I might play later tonight if I finish all my studying and all my work that I have to do. But that remains to be seen. So pretty exciting. I don't know. Let me see. I should name the deck. There we go. Seems good to me. All right. See ya.